Hey guys, welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. Don here. I'm going to talk this week about an interview I did with Joe. I'm finishing up that workshop page. I'll show that to you, kind of what the process is. I learned we recently did a kind of a webinar with Jeff. That was helping with Amerigel. We talked about the wound kits. I got this from Dr. Hall. If you search one of my previous interviews, he talked about doing these collagen kits. And I'll tell you kind of our experience behind that. Doing a page for referral sources. This was kind of an idea that I had, some wording tips, WooSox and stuff. So let's start up here. So I'm going to put a little link underneath here. I'm helping this gentleman named Joe. He is starting kind of almost like a business to help people lose weight and stay healthier. And what I'm kind of thinking of is, well, I'm always needing a place that I can send my patients to. A lot of them come in for foot pain, but then they're wanting to lose weight. And I've tried in the past by sharing resources, and some will do it, but you really need more help with things like that. And that's not my deal. I don't have enough time to explain and do that for them. So I'm excited to have someone else that I can kind of refer to. And so I was kind of helping and going through that, giving him some ideas so you guys can listen to that. I finished the workshop page. Let me just stop here and show this workshop page to you. This is what the workshop page looks like. I made another link here, drpelto.com/workshop. And then this is the only one right now. It's the heel pain workshop. Now, this idea in this kind of the template I learned from something called Get Breakthrough, which is their template. And so we're using Facebook ads to send patients to this and trying to fill up a live actual like workshop, we call it. So up here on top is if people want to be seen sooner, they can schedule an appointment. So when they do that, it's going to do a little page here where they can put their name, email, and phone number to make an appointment. But the whole goal of this is one thing. It's basically for them to register for the workshop. So here's a little video, registration video. Here's when we're doing it, where it's going to be at, and for people can register. Now, no matter where they click, they're going to get the same thing. This register now here. I talk about what I'm going to be going over. I took a lot of this writing from the ideas of the other physical therapist one. And all these, and then on the bottom, I put some testimonials in because testimonials seem to kind of increase credibility. So all the register now buttons, they all go to the same thing that I've used for previous webinars. It's this Calendly link, and you can see it's over a week away, and here's where it's at. And so all the information, they just click it, and it says how many spots are left. There are 24 spots left out of 25. And then they can confirm it if they want to confirm, and then they can put their name, email, and get a text message. So I'm using this. I probably could have done something within the website, but this is already set up within my Calendly, and I just think it's so much easier to use that. So that's the whole goal. We're sending Facebook ads. These aren't for our current patients. These are for future patients. So patients that haven't seen us before. So I'm not marketing to my current list. I'm marketing to Facebook, and we're putting an ad in the newspaper about that. So I just want to tell you. Now, the other thing, as I was making this, this is how kind of my brain works. I was thinking, well, could I do something similar? Because you can see that this really has nothing to do with our office. It doesn't have central mass podiatry. It's just a basic a page. And so my other thought is I've been trying to find a way to provide more value to the physical therapists and the shoe store. So I kind of think of who I refer to and how I can give them more value. And I've been thinking about this and how can I do it even like almost like virtually or not to not take up so much of my time. So my thought is, could I make something like this? And let's say there's a PT place that I refer to called Greendale PT. So my thought is, could I put the Greendale PT logo here, do a little interview with the owner of Greendale PT, and then instead of offering, you could make one event, but you could have like patient, like their patient lower extremity resources or something like that. So basically, they could send their patients to look at certain resources because a lot of times they're needing patient education information, right? But it needs to be about them and not about me. So I'm excited to do something like this. So it's not going to look like it's from me. It's going to look like it's from them. So they have their logo here, maybe even drpelto.com/Greendale for Greendale PT, and then make this. If I can make this, so the thought is, could I make it for a physical therapy place? Could I make it for a shoe store? Could I make it for other things? And then in there, you could have, let's say the main offer might be my webinar, a monthly webinar, and that would just auto-populate based on the webinar. But then down here, there's, if they want help now, there's going to be some information about like books or videos or something else. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go, but that's kind of my initial thought, and that would be a value add to those that I'm that are referring to me, and then I'm referring to as well. So like maybe then could it be some local shoe stores? Could it be bigger than that? Could you have a link maybe to Amazon, so that then there could be some type of so you could earn some revenue from it. So there's a lot of ways you could use this, but I was thinking about it. You could do a page that's specific to them. So those are a couple of those ideas. So I finished that workshop page. I'll tell you how it's going to go. It says I have 24 spots. I really have 25. I had someone visiting me last week, a nail technician that rotates with me as I'm doing a little internship for them. And she's the one that registered. So I'm a little nervous to see who or if or how many will sign up. And we're paying. How did I decide the amount to pay? Not Google. We're doing some Facebook ads. I'm doing the value as if it was one patient. So I'm doing $125 to try to get people to that webinar, basically. So $125 and to spend for that one event, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe I should spend more. I'm just kind of learning. And then also within Calendly, it's going to send them like a text reminder. It's going to make them confirm a lot of other things that I kind of implanted in there. I was excited about learning about the wound kits. I want to tell you my experience about these wound kits. We tried these in the past. It might be 6 or 7 years ago. And I got a little burnt because I bought all this alginate and collagen, and I was just given this box, and there wasn't a real great process. And that's what I find. You need kind of processes to do stuff. Works a lot better. So this time it was a lot better set up. I think I bought it from them in the past, but this time they have their own little kits. All the DME dispensing stuff, we're already set for AFOs and cam boots. We already know how to do that. We just kind of modify it towards wounds. And I didn't want to do this in the past because we don't do a lot of wounds. We're more sports medicine, but I do have, I don't know, maybe 2 a week or something like that, 2 or 3. It's not a very heavy wound practice, but I'd like to try it and kind of see how it goes. And it looks like it's pretty beneficial to the patient, getting them better, and also for the office. I already talked about this page for referral sources. I'll go over these wording tips. Some of the things that didn't work, I always like to share with you what didn't work. I asked someone for some feedback on my 30-day blueprint, and this person just thought that 30 days was way too long to give it to people, and recommended giving it for a shorter amount of time. So I'm thinking about switching it to like 7 days or 14 days free access, and then switching it. I really want to do is I want to switch this to a monthly subscription. That's what I really want, because like $197 is kind of expensive, and for the patient presentations, it's going to be more expensive. But if you could just do like kind of like the Adobe model, you could do 20 a month forever. I think that I could give great value for that, for like the get people all the new presentations, all these new tips, wording tips, slide tips, things like that. Have it all in one place. That's my latest thought. And then if you give them free access, if you give free access for 14 days for all the stuff, like all the master classes, everything else like that, please let me know what you guys think of that. If you think that's a better way of doing it, I think it would be that way, just a lot cleaner. I actually got this idea from, I think it's Paul. They have this podiatric surgery like video series, and they're charging 20 to 40 or to 50 a month. And I was thinking, well, if they're doing that for surgical videos, I could do that for practice management videos, right? So that's the whole idea. You could have a whole selection of courses and videos and things like that at that price point. So that's my thought based on her feedback. And she also said that some of my stuff in my tech list wasn't really clear. So that's the good thing about having people look at stuff. It humbles you, and you realize it's not that clear. Then the podcast also, I was getting a little burnt out. I was trying to do a lot more of these podcasts. I enjoy doing it in the car. Sometimes I have a lot of inspiration and can do it. Other times I get a little, I don't have as much inspiration, depending usually how much sleep I get. So for the podcast, I am slowing that down. I'm doing this weekly one on Mondays, And then I'm doing, whenever I do my interviews, and occasionally if I have a keen idea or something I want to talk about, I'll do it a little bit more. But thank you for all those that have listened. In the short time, the YouTube has surpassed the podcast. So I think YouTube might be a better method of getting this out. So let me continue on and show you guys a few things here. This is the interview. He kind of looks like, this is his pots and pans where he does like a cooking class. This is Joe talking to him. This is that webinar thing I'm doing. Oh, I learned this. I'm always, as I'm learning things, I like to pass things on. This is something that I need to work on and I'm working on. So weak wording versus strong wording. This is what you need. This is what I recommend versus here is what we're going to do. So kind of leading patients, like here is what we're going to do. This is what's best for you. This is what we're going to do. And let them say no. This is the key. I think a lot of us, we have a hard time hearing that word no and just kind of offering them what's best. Like this is what we're going to do for it. And instead of like giving them all these options, this is something that I've been weak at in the past. It's a struggle for me. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's a mental thing or what. They talk about like the mental things, but this is something. And one thing that really helps me is using this treatment evaluator. I've shown this to you before. This is when I have someone with heel pain, I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. You want the most effective treatment, right? Yes. So we're going to do shockwave therapy. We're going to do physical therapy. We're going to do custom orthotics. That's what's best for you. Okay. This is what we're going to do. And if they want to say no, they can say no. But this is what's really helped me is using these slides because it makes it more objective than subjective versus that whole checklist that I used to use in the past. This makes it a lot easier. So I have these for all the things that I'm doing now, or as I'm doing them all, I'm modifying my slides to this. So this is something that I would recommend you guys trying. It's within Podiatry Practice Master. You can get one of mine for plantar fasciitis, or just let me know what your thoughts are. I want to share an idea here. This is something I got a letter from this guy when I refinanced my house, and they quickly resold my refinance. But I got this from this guy named Jason. It's kind of a neat idea, though. Basically, you ask all of your customers, say you're giving away 4 tickets to a local team, and they can kind of subscribe to it. This is kind of just like a fun thing. You could even like raffle this off, and so patients that like this. And the key is this QR code. So I think this QR code makes it a lot easier than going like to this Google Doc /forms and all these things. So the QR code makes it a lot easier. You could also do a link tree, which is a link tree to register. Let me just show you what that is. If you guys don't know, because sometimes, like for example, if I send people to my website, Central Mass Podiatry, it can be a challenge to find exactly what I'm wanting them to do. So what we've made is something called a link tree, and then Central Mass Podiatry. So what this does is like whatever is most important, right? We can send them there. So for example, it only has a few options here. And I don't know if you can read this, but basically the first one is a heel pain workshop registration. So this one will go to that heel pain workshop. So when we do ads in the newspaper, we send them this link, a link tree. So it does exactly what we want them to see. Like if we're referring to an article in that week's newsletter, in the newspaper, they can get that article, book an appointment, or the registration. So if they click the registration, it'll go right to this registration link. Okay. So an idea is if you're doing marketing, you can do a QR code, but some of the patients aren't tech savvy enough to do that. And a lot of times in our website, we have way too many options. So that's why I like this idea of a link tree. It's free. If you can have other bells and whistles you can do, but basically it just offers a few links of whatever is most pertinent for your patients. So I wanted to share that with you. So that's about it for this week. If you guys haven't told me, I'd love for you to kind of share your tip. Here's a little QR code, or underneath this video, you can tell me your tip, kind of what's working for you, what you'd like to see more of. I'm always trying to provide kind of the best help for you guys for your practice. And let me know what you think about this monthly. If you think the monthly thing is better than the one price, I'm thinking it is, and so I'm trying to figure out how to set that up. Okay. Once again, thank you guys. I'm going to put some other videos here to the side and above. And so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Here are some other videos that you can look at that you might find enjoyable. There's a lot of links underneath here too if you like this. Okay.